Think about what happened to India in the last 12 months. The United States imposed a 25% punitive tariff on top of existing duties. Global oil prices shoot from $80 to $120 per barrel.
India will identify, track and punish every terrorist and their backers.
Operation Sindoor was military precise, but diplomatically, the world didn't fully back India. And in its own neighborhood, China has been quietly filling every gap India has left behind. That is the reality of India's position right now. So, what does the country do when pressure comes from every direction? If it is smart, it finds the one table where it controls the agenda. In September 2026, leaders from Russia, China, Brazil, Iran, UAE, Indonesia, and South Africa all are arriving at India's invitation because this year India chairs BRICS. To understand why this particular movement is India's biggest opportunity yet. The first challenge. In early 2025, under Trump administration, US imposed a 25% punitive tariff on Indian goods on top of existing 26% reciprocal tariff. That's effectively a 51% tariff wall. The reason? India's continued purchase of Russian oil. After months of negotiation, the framework was reached on February 7, 2026. The United States lowered the reciprocal tariff on India from 25% to 18%. India committed to purchasing $500 billion in US goods over 5 years, including oil, gas, aircraft parts, and technology products. As of this week, India says the deal is 99% complete. On the surface, this looks like a progress, but the cost is real. India committed to reduce oil purchases from Russia, a supply that had kept India's energy cost manageable through one of the most turbulent times in global oil market. The lesson here is important. When country's energy supply runs through another country's goodwill, that is vulnerability, not a partnership. This is exactly why India needs alternatives, and BRICS is one place to build them. In March 2026, following military strikes in West Asia, the Strait of Hormuz became effectively constrained. Under 2 weeks, oil price moved from $80 to $120 per barrel. India imports approximately 85% of its oil, a significant portion of that transits through Hormuz. Every $10 increase in oil price adds to India's current account deficit. These directly affect the price of everything, starting from petrol to electricity, including transport and food. On May 7, 2025, India launched Operation Sindoor, targeting terror infrastructure across Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. India carried out air and missile strikes on terrorist camps, including the headquarters of Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. Pakistan retaliated the following day, and a ceasefire came into effect on May 10. The government of India has clarified that the ceasefire discussion took place directly between India and Pakistan, which was initiated by the Pakistan itself. Militarily, the operation achieved its stated objectives, but strategically, the diplomatic picture is more complex. Pakistan credited President Trump with meditating the ceasefire and nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize. That endeared Pakistan to the Trump administration. Pakistan subsequently hosted sensitive negotiations involving the US and Iran, signaling a renewed diplomatic relevance. When we talk about the neighborhood, India's neighborhood first policy has faced genuine headwinds. Bangladesh's political transition in 2024 has left bilateral relations in a complicated state. Nepal continues to balance between India and China has been systematically and patiently building infrastructure, influence, and presence across South Asia. This is not alarmism, this is geography and strategy. The question is, what is India's response? Now, let's talk about the opportunities India have. Here is where it gets genuinely interesting, because each of the 4 challenges we just described has a corresponding BRICS opportunity. But the question is no longer whether BRICS matters to India. The real question is, how exactly can India use this platform to strengthen its position? Now, as the US tariffs has exposed India's deep integration with dollar-based trade systems, making it vulnerable to American economic pressure. So the opportunity here is to make an alternative to it. And that alternative is BRICS Pay, a planned decentralized cross-border payment system designed to link the national payment networks of BRICS member countries. And this is not about just replacing the dollar. It is about reducing dependency on a single platform. Because when a country has alternative, it has leverages. The post-Operation Sindhu diplomatic environment showed India that bilateral pressure on Pakistan has limits. But under India's 2026 chairmanship, AI governance and counter-terrorism has been placed at the center of India's presidency agenda. And it is not that India making an acquisition, it is the chair of group representing 40% of world population making priority. And in diplomacy, numbers matter. Or a group of country representing a 40% of humanity discusses an issue, the world's pay attention. And that is a different kind of weight. This is the most important opportunity India has, balancing China within the system. India's economy is approximately $3.9 trillion, whereas China's economy is approximately $18.5 trillion, roughly 4.7 times larger than India's, which brings more financial weight and more funding through NDB. And that is why more BRICS members have significant Chinese investments. But here is what India uniquely brings. India is trusted by the West enough to share their advanced defense technology. India concluding free trade agreement with European Union in 2026, and India is US major defense partner and a Quad member, which allows India to do something few countries can: engage with competing power centers without fully belonging to any one of them. But there is one hidden challenge for India, that is, China wants BRICS members to perform for de-dollarization and for reshaping global institutions in its favor. But India thinks different. India wants BRICS to be genuinely multipolar, a platform where no single country, not America, not China, set the rules for everyone else. As BRICS chair, India has the agenda setting power to push that vision. This is India's longest term play. Under India's 2026 chairmanship, the first BRICS Youth Coordination meeting was held in March 2026. The BRICS University League, comprising over 100 universities, facilitates students and faculty exchanges. These grappling events are the framework of soft power, built person by person and institution by institution. India's UPI system is expanding into African markets, generic medicine reaching over 150 countries, and technical expertise, it is present across global south. The message India is building is influence is not built only through military or trade. Sometimes it is built through trust, and that is the space India is trying to occupy. When we honestly see, the question arises whether India can actually deliver on these opportunities. The constraints are real. China will not simply defer to India on BRICS agendas. The financial resources China brings to BRICS give it structural influence that India cannot match dollar to dollar. Iran and UAE, both BRICS members, have complex tension between them. Building consensus in this group is genuinely difficult. India is simultaneously negotiating a trade deal with the US and chairing a group that includes Russia and Iran. Managing that contradiction requires sustained diplomatic skills. But here is the honest case of optimism. India's position at the intersection of the West Alliance system and the global South is genuinely unique. Few countries can comfortably speak with Washington, Moscow, Brussels, and the global South at the same time. And that uniqueness is India's most valuable asset in a world. The September summit with President Putin, President Xi Jinping, and with the leaders from Asia, Africa, and Latin America gathering in New Delhi is one of the rare moments when geography, timing, and leadership aligning in a country's favor. But what India does with that alignment is the real story of 2026. So BRICS 2026 will not transform India overnight, but it will reveal something important. Whether India can convert its growing influence into lasting strategic outcomes. Because in international politics, influence is not measured by the speeches, it is measured by results. And the result of summit will tell us a lot about India's place in the emerging world order. So that's all from my side. If you found this breakdown useful, subscribe to Bharat Brief. Every week, one important story about India's place in the world.